So Larry Brown, former Philadelphia 76ers coach, said he had a Allen Iverson come to a seminar with SMU, and he had Allen Iverson talk, and they got to asking Allen Iverson who was the greatest player ever, and then Allen Iverson chimed in and said he was, and my reaction is kind of like, humble much. Now I get asked all the time. Me and Allen Iverson, there's like a lot of players I've had to hear about pound for pound, like Sugar Ray Robinson, pound for pound. I don't do pound for pound. I don't. Because if I was to do pound for pound in my lifetime, like if I'm going pound for pound that I saw, I'd tell you Shaquille O'Neal. And then you might ask me, why would I say Shaq pound for pound? Because if we're going to go pound for pound, nobody stopped Shaq in his peak of his prime. His peak in his prime was better and bigger and more longer than Allen Iverson's. So when you start this pound for pound and peak for peak and all this other stuff, the problem you run into is that you're making up something to make it sound like it's something. So when you gotta, I heard LeBron James say this. I think Kobe once said it too. If he was this, if he was that, how not the totality that he was. But then again, I heard the same thing said about Isaiah Thomas. That if he was 6'6", he'd have been Michael Jordan too. Because Isaiah to me is still the best 6 foot and under guard I've seen. Steph Curry is considered a slight dude, and he's better than Iverson was. When you say this pound for pound mess, you acting like this guy was doing something superhuman. Now, for the culture, I will give you street cred because Isaiah was so more cosmetic. You know, he played in Detroit, and you can't get too much rougher than any from Chicago. But the white teeth, I don't know. People, I don't know. The time period, they just didn't buy Isaiah. But he had a lot to his game. And I said the same thing about Steph Curry. And then John Stockton. Because if you put Iverson and Stockton, well, 5'11", 6'1", how you want to call it, inch or two, Stockton was bad at what he did. So what is your criteria for when you say this? But there's a lot of reasons why AI is one of the greatest players, but he's not in that conversation amongst the top. Not even amongst the guys that are 6'2" and under. He's, to me, he doesn't. Because even though he was an MVP and he had scoring titles, to me, some of his game did not always lend it to its best interest. Whereas a guy like Stockton, I can so defend him as an assist man and what he did. Isaiah Thomas, I can so defend him leading the team, being the leader, and deferring and making people better and getting the most out of them. And of course, with Steph Curry. I can't say that about AI. I can say he was tenacious and tough. I'll give you that. He was tough, fiery and all that. But when he sits there and boasts and says, well, being 6 foot and no one could do what I do, I'd beg to differ. See, one thing about basketball, I don't believe in the Samson Goliath. I don't believe in the because you taller or you smaller or you in between. I go by what I see as the end results. I don't hold a big man down to up a guard like some people do. It was fashionable for people to say, well, Kobe was better than Shaq when he wasn't. It was fashionable for people to say Kobe or Dwayne Wade was better and not give Tim Duncan his due. And some people would. It's not the truth. Somewhere if you 6'6", like if you're Michael Jordan or something, and he one of the greatest players, and I no question about it. But because of the right height or in between, that's your criteria. Just like I don't put it because of you are your size. You are what you are. So if you great, you great. But if you come up short, you come up short. And don't sit here and say you can't win and be 6'1" and under, because Isaiah Thomas defeated that narrative. It was a finals MVP. So when people use that criteria, I'm calling cap and crunch. But no, Iverson was not a changer in that regard. He was tough for his size and strong. But when you say you the greatest ever, now you're gonna defend yourself, but then that self, what are you saying you're the greatest of what? Because I'm not gonna sit here and say you the best shooter I ever saw, the assist man, the rebound man. Yeah, you led a team to the finals. I'll give you props for that. But was I blown away by what you did? No, no, no. Do I think that Allen Iverson was a 1 year wonder than what Tiny Archibald did when he led the league in points and assists? No. With no 3-point line, Tiny did that. So you gotta be careful for some people when you be trying to say these sort of things because you know, that's why I don't like it when they ask people and they say, you never self promote yourself because it comes across very arrogant and smug. And there's enough of that goes around. And you talking about with no disrespect to Dr. J or Jordan or Kobe or that. Well, you did disrespect because you got to explain on your resume why you better than those guys and your totality. We can sit here all day long and play, well, if you had 3 more inches, if you had a bigger afro, if you had bigger pumps on your shoes, if the court was more open. I mean, we can do that all day. I never hear Oscar Robinson have to blow his own horn. I never hear Jerry West blow his own horn. So it is a disrespect to try to put yourself as something. I ain't got no problem if you dominated and you won. I got no problem with that because we can debate you, but you in the conversation. But to sit here and I don't, Shaq said and used to call him top five. Look, he played hard and everything, but did I look at him and think he was better than Isaiah Thomas? No, no, I didn't, and I never will. Just like I don't look at Iverson better than John Stockton, and I know he ain't better than Steph Curry. So, where he's in a conversation where he was great at what he did, but when you say stuff, you got to make sure you back. I don't like this pound for pound, inch for inch. You either that or you ain't. People start making handicaps. This ain't a bowling handicap or golf handicap. Tell the truth. I call cap and crunch. Comical to me, you know. You did a lot for where you was, but you was privileged too. You earned it as a human being. But to sit there and say because of my size, I mean, come on now. That's Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay real. I'm out. Peace.